Keep going. You got a little bit more room. Drive this thing, man. Tire's a little low. All right, doing the distributor cap and rotor button on the 240. This is an old one here. This is a new one. Just look at the difference. Obviously, like, I don't think the original is going to have these little dips in it, or it could, and it's just worn. But if you look at this line here versus that line, let's see if I can get it. You see the difference? So yeah, it could be worn, actually. Good gosh. So yeah, it's going to run a lot better now. So I started working on the wheels here. The one on the rear, I started polishing. The one up front, I'm currently stripping. But I'm going to take a little break from that, and I'm going to start siphoning out the old brake fluid and clutch fluid and try bleeding those and see what we can get out of it. But before we get there, let's take a look at this. So the game plan here is to polish the faces of it and the lip, okay? I'm gonna have to strip the barrel since I've already started with that. Oh no, my sunflower seeds. And then I'm gonna paint the inner barrel silver because I don't feel like polishing that. I don't feel like dealing with it later on when it starts getting dirty. So inside it's gonna be painted silver, and the outside, of course, will be polished. And of course, my timing chain came in set. So I'll be getting to that at some point. Of course, one of these little guides you don't install. I think it might be this one here because that's where all your noise and stuff comes from. But since we're probably going to be boosting this thing, you know, low boost and stuff like that, I gotta make sure it's pretty much solid. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll check the motor, see how healthy it is, test some compression on it, and make that decision on whether or not we're gonna do that. But for the time being, we're gonna come over here, and I got to get all this out. It looks disgusting, and maybe you can see that. Oh, there it is, disgusting. So what I'm gonna do, I got a water bottle here. This is what I did last time when I changed the fluid on my Miata for the shifter tunnel. I used a straw, a water bottle, and just kind of squeezed it, and it would just suck it back up. So that is what we're going to do here. Okay, so I got my little contraption whipped up here. It's basically just a water bottle used a lighter to soften up the cap and just stick a straw through it. Okay, revision 2.0 here. The other bottle was just a little too flimsy. Got the new brake fluid in, and now we're going to go ahead and put the clutch fluid in. It looks pretty good now. It's all cleaned out. It was pretty gross, to say the least. I think it was far worse than the brake fluid, but heck yeah. Oh. Let's see, got one wheel down. I decided not to go with the polished look. Instead, I'm doing a polished lip and polished inner barrel. Just kind of going with the original finish. So this is how it turned out so far. I am not done, but paint came out pretty good on that one. If we come over here, I'm working on this one. Currently, it is not even remotely done. Just the face has been painted and obviously it's been stripped. I'm still working on sanding the barrels down and the lip, but maybe we can get an idea how it looks from the car. Got a mess out here, but that's how it's looking. So as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and start taking everything apart to do the timing on this thing, so I can actually drive it and work out some kinks as I go. So yeah, let's get started on that.
Damn. Yeah, it ain't 300 and something, whatever. It's not that sludgy.
No, not at all for 14 years. All right, so we're back here. I went ahead and pulled the valve cover off. As you can see, obviously cleaned it up. I had some fun. I just thought it'd be funny to go ahead and polish some random timing cover on here. But I took off the little guides here and down there because if you look at the chain, it is pretty tight. So there's really no need for me to go ahead and replace all that at the time. But still, I took this off and there's like another timing, it's a tensioner actually. So I squeezed that and it was kind of stuck, but now it's moving freely. So since, like I said last time, I wasn't going to do anything with the valve cover just then because I didn't feel too comfortable getting water down in the spark plugs. This is where it's set now. So I used wrinkle black. I am going to go back over here. I scraped all the paint off and then I'll sand that down. So this is just going to be like the polished look. But yeah, let's go ahead and get it done. Okay, it is done. Everything's back together. I had an issue with this one here because I noticed when I took this off, it looked like some threads were pulled in it. So that could have been part of the reason why I was leaking. I don't really know. But anyway, I got lucky. I was able to find a longer bolt and it just threads all the way through to the bottom just about. So it's holding nice and tight. All right, you can kind of hear the power steering pump making some noise, but a bit more marble. This. All right, I went ahead and put some fluid in the power steering pump so you can actually hear the motor now. The power steering pump's not making any noise. Of course, the motor sounds pretty good. It's not sounding like marbles like it did when I first started the car up. Also, I discovered that I do have a leak down here on the high pressure line for the power steering. So more than likely, all that's just going to leak back out. It is what it is. I'll have to go ahead and address that. First ride for the 240. Made it out here to the gas station. Go ahead and fill it up. So far, so good. Everything's going pretty good with it. I'm just going ahead and dilute the old gas that's kind of in there. I mean, I put fresh gas in it, but still just going to fill it up. But so far, so good. Okay, so on today's project 240 restorations, what we're doing here, you probably noticed like how all this is peeling off and flaking. I have a trick to that. Is what I do, I like to grab a razor blade. You gotta be careful with this, but I just take it and I go along just like that and I scrape all that old stuff off. And then I sand it down and I go back and paint it. So that is what we're gonna be doing here on that. Oops, okay, so this here is a paper that I use. It actually is 50 pieces. Like I said, you can get this from Walmart in the packaging section. I just go ahead, grab me a layer out. And usually to conserve that, because again, I am cheap, I go ahead and split it down the middle like that. And then I take it, place it right underneath, like to overlap just a little bit. And then I do this. Comes the same thing over here. Go underneath it. Come down. Voila. And that is how I tape up anything that I'm doing. I'm basically doing with the 240. And you go ahead and tape it down. And this is the outcome. I just like to use Rust-Oleum flat black or any form of flat black paint because I don't like the gloss. The gloss is just gonna look tacky and then come from that way from factory. So I need to do all that. But if you step back, this is how it looks. And oops, my battery is about to die. But this is the CRV that I had on my channel. I know I have not made any updates on it because I've changed directions what I've been going to do with this. I'm actually going to sell this thing. I was going to make this into an off-road project, but I just really don't think I want to do that with this thing. You know, the lift kit is just as much as it would be for my Touareg, so I'd rather go that route, enjoy the Touareg. There's no need to have two SUVs. I would rather have an SUV and a nice fun project car that I can build on instead of another SUV to build on when I already have my Touareg. So that's what's happening with that. So the build series is pretty much done with that. I don't really think I actually mentioned in the video that I probably won't be building this. I'm not too sure if I'm going to keep it. But yeah, this is how the CRV looks currently today. So, whoops. And there it is. But anyway, we're not here for that. We're here for the 240. Well, phone died yesterday and it was getting dark, so here's the updates on the trim now. Ignore the side mirror, we'll address that eventually. But now we're going to go back here and I'm going to clean up this and do this side, and then if we come up here I'm going to clean up this. I need to get a car cover. I have one, I just keep forgetting to bring it. But I'm going to pull this cowl off and redo all of this here. But yeah, hopefully sometime this upcoming week she should be good to go and go get the exhaust done. We can drive it. All right, I went ahead and got it pulled out so you guys can see everything. Of course, the windshield wipers are now repainted. I painted the, of course, this here, whatever you call this little metal piece, metal cowl trim, whatever. I did wrinkle black. It didn't come out quite as good as I would like. I went that route because, you know, like most cars, they kind of have like a textured look nowadays. So I went ahead and done that. It didn't come out perfect, but it's a lot better. And as for the trim underneath, this is the outcome on that. Again, it's not super perfect, but it's a lot better than it was considering it was faded, everything like that. Now, if we come back here to the rear window trim, of course, it's completed too. It blends in fairly well with the old trim here. It's not super perfect, but it'll pass for the time being. This actually came out really well though. But so far so good. Made sure I got all the lights working. We're so close to getting it running. I just need a little bit more money, and if that thing there would sell, then we'll be golden. I can start ordering stuff because I'm looking at roughly like $1,000 in parts that this thing needs. But as of right now, it's drivable, just not so much on these tires that, oh man. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I know I didn't do a whole lot in here for its like mods and things of that nature, but we're still in the progress of making this thing roadworthy. Like I said, it still needs a few more things. I'm not rich. I don't make a lot of money like these other YouTubers. So I can't do everything super fast. I think I might have mentioned that actually in the start of the video, that it's going to be mostly maintenance things and making sure it's good to go before I start doing some crazy mods and things of that nature. But I do have a lot of plans for it. So next up, I'm going to order a clutch. The one that's in there is fine, but I know it's not going to be much longer. So I'm ordering a clutch. I'll get the coilovers. I'm ordering tires. I'm ordering paint as well. Now, with that being said, just because I'm ordering paint does not mean I'm going to paint the whole entire car, but I am going to get the correct paint code for that. I'm going to order that and have it set aside for spring. But for the time being, I am going to try to address the front bumper at least. It keeps blowing out. I wonder if I can focus that. But I want to at least address the front bumper because that's just atrocious, and maybe a few other light spots that I can, where like the rust is showing here on the fender. I want to be able to address things like this here before it gets any worse. You know, it's made it this long, you know, and it hasn't, but it's my car now. I want to take care of it and prolong it. So if you guys made it this far, I appreciate it. Again, just be patient, stay tuned though, because more is coming. I'm actually working on the next video now because I do have stuff in for it, but we'll see. You just have to find out on that. But again, like I said, be patient. Things will come out within probably like a week or two. If I can get this CRV sold even quicker. But yeah, that's it for the time being on it. Again, thank you, appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace.